Howdy guys, and welcome back to another Aussie Motor Tips. This one's a bit of a different one for you guys. It's not a Mini, it's not a Gixxer, it's not a Suzuki GSXR, if people don't know what a Gixxer means. It's on a Vauxhall Zafira, on a caliper which requires the piston to be rotated in. So the piston goes in. It can't just be forced in, like the calipers that make sense. It needs to be rotated in, because it's on the handbrake caliper. It's on the rear of the Vauxhall Zafira. I only do one, mainly because I just want to show you guys what you're getting into and how to do it. And I thought it'd be an interesting video to show, and it's in a different environment as well, so just mixes my channel up a bit. So yeah, I'll keep this briefing quite short. It's well, I explain in a minute. I'm replacing the seals on the piston. That's the main reason, and the rotor, the disc, and the pads. So that's basically the whole idea of the job. So yeah, mix it up a bit on a Vauxhall Zafira this time, and yeah, the Vauxhall's had a lot of work done to it as well. Mainly not by me, but we're just lending a helping hand today and catching it all for the channel. So yeah, enjoy. And if you want to replace seals in your caliper, this is the way to do it. I do, however, think the calipers on the handbrake side, the calipers that require to be turned, the piston to rotate, because it's got threads inside the caliper, is an absolutely horrible idea to work on. And I really hate it, but hey, it's there, and we've all got to cope with it. So I do think it's blimmin' horrible, though. I was going to say a really nasty word then, but I will keep it professional. Okay, so yeah, you'll see what I mean because I show in the video. Okay, so enjoy. This is a Vauxhall Zafira caliper rebuild, I would say. Rotor and pad replacement, pretty much a whole brake service, I would say, on the handbrake caliper. Okay, enjoy guys, and see you on the next video. Right guys, so today we're giving someone else a hand. This is for once not a Mini, which is a great little change for me. And it's a caliper rebuild. It's a rear caliper, driver's side, as you can see, and it kind of looks as though it's in need of it. And we're going to be replacing the inner seal and the dust cover on a one piston caliper on a Vauxhall Zafira. I'm not 100% sure what year it is actually, but doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all. So if you think about it, the piston is the other side of this disc. So when you apply the brake, the piston goes towards this disc, which pushes the pad against the disc, which slows your vehicle down. Also, when you pull the handbrake, it does the same. So to get the piston out, you could unwind it and be really controlled and really mannerly and really quite posh about it, or you could just put pressure in the braking system through the through where it's connected to the caliper here. Put pressure on your foot pedal, and in theory the .4 fluid should push the piston right out if I get all this disconnected and ready for that stage. So that is the plan. that's the way I'm going to get the piston out. Many of you will probably disagree. If you do, you do. You know, it's fine. But that is the way I'm going to do it. And then we're going to clean up the piston and install the new seals. We're going to take a look at the old seals, see the biggest differences. It's always good to look at old parts because it tells you the story of the component, how it's acting, and what's going on in it. Okay, so the next time you see me, I should have tools, and we should be stripping this caliper at high speed so it's not so boring for you. So let me get prepared and we'll do that. Alright, so also along with the seals, the inner seal and the dust seal, it would only make sense to replace the rotor or disc, however you want to call it, on the rear. So that's going to obviously go there. And with a rotor always comes pads. I mean, if you're going to replace your disc / rotor, you got to do the pads as well. It's only right to, yeah. So we're going to do that as well. These are tiny pads. Wow. I mean, 9 times out of 10, well, pretty much 10 out of 10 actually, your pads on the back is pretty much half the size of the pads on the front. Mainly because when you brake, it's about 30% on the back. This is the foot pedal, by the way, and the other 70% is on the front. And then obviously when you apply the handbrake, it's 100% on the back and 0 on the front. So these don't particularly get used other than parking, really, like 9 times out of 10. Alright, so that's why they look like a little go-kart kind of pad. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. I have seen corrosion going around this hub bit before, that badly that the hub disconnects from the actual disc itself. This is why we replace rotors or discs, because it can actually come away here from here, and your braking, your parking brakes can completely fail and still be connected to this bit, but the hub will still turn. So guys, just do not leave your rear rotors go and corrode and then snap, because you'll find your car actually rolling down the hill. So I mean, that's worst case scenario, clearly, but I have seen rotors like literally on their last bit, they're like all the metal's just corroded away here, because that's where water sits. So it only makes sense to, if you get this far, just replace them. I mean, they're cheap enough. I mean, you can go ridiculous and get discs that's got grooves put out of them, and they're racing discs and different compounds and all that, but you can get discs for, like, I don't know, 15 to 20 quid maybe if you're lucky, you know. So just do it, just replace it. Right, so let's get cracking. Okay, so looking at this caliper brace, as you've seen on the video, I started to put it back on. One, because I started to get excited, and two, my laziness kicked in. But to be honest, yeah, I double backed on it, and this is why. So obviously corrosion, especially where I live, is a major factor. You can see corrosion around here, look. So we're going to wire brush it down and replace these pin seals. They literally just pull off. It's nothing major. It's really easy. So that's rubbish. That's shot. Pull off again, just like that. And we're going to grease these pins up as well. Clean them up. Don't wire brush the pins. Okay, I know it's tempted after seeing what I've just done, but no. You wire brush the brace where the pads sit. So, and we're going to grease all this up as well. You've seen on my other brake service video, kind of the same thing really. Look at that, a lot better. I mean, yeah, okay, a new brace, if you got the money, is the key. You won't have to do any of this, but to be honest, this brace is fine. It's doing its job. There's no weakness to it. There's no cracks. So yeah, some grease and a little bit of TLC will be fine. So we get the new seals. Look at the difference. Okay, this one's the worst. There's actually a hole in it. Okay, so we're gonna get some grease first, I think. 1 second, I'll just get some grease. Okay, so at this point you won't need much grease for these seals to go back on. I need to clean off the muck first, I think, so I'll need a rag as well. Alright, so clean off these old pins. Nothing spectacular, but they do need to glide. That's why I said don't wire brush them, because they need to be nice and smooth. If you wire brush them, obviously they're not going to be smooth. They possibly would work still, but I don't know, man. It's just not the thing to do. And we'll get a bit of grease around here, just so it slides on nicely. Put the new seal on, and over it goes. Look at the difference. That's so good. I mean, if I put that one back on here, look, you see the difference in the two. Awesome. Okay, so a little bit of grease here, just to help it on its way, and get the new one, slide it on, and out it goes. So these pins are ready. We'll get a shot of them because they're disgusting, and we've wire brushed this. So that's kind of a little bit of a makeover for the brace. So I'll put you back into on there you are, and well, view the rest, I suppose. Okay, so as you've seen, the piston come out, which is here. I'm hoping you guys can see this. I'm in a really dark room. But yeah, as you can see, there's threads in there, and the piston gets wound on. And inside there's a seal, a black seal. Can you see that? So what we need to do is get that seal out. That's the old seal, which isn't too hard really. Shouldn't be. It's a bit hard to get to, but so we're going to get that seal out and replace it with this seal. Okay, so don't be too scared to get a screwdriver in there, but don't give it welly, because you don't want to mark inside the caliper. You don't want to score it or dent it or whatever. Okay, so let's get that seal out. And obviously the piston sits inside there like that. It obviously goes in here. So the seal is the difference between the .4 brake fluid going past and going behind the piston, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'll get back to you and we'll get this seal out, and as I'm putting the new one in, I'll start filming then. Cool. I apologise for how dark it is. I'm hoping you can see what's going on. Okay, so the old seal is coming out, just like that. So obviously it's in there. You want to give this area a clean now, inside where the seal actually sits, as best you can really. I mean, easier said than done, because you've got things in the way and ridiculous lighting situation here. So you want to get in there and clean it if you can, and then compare the two seals, which that's perfect. Get the new seal in, which is pretty easy. Literally just kind of just ease it in really. Nice and easy. Like so. So now that's in, the new seal. That's looking nice. Okay, and then clean up the piston. I'm so hoping you can see this. In an ideal world, this needs to be cleaned with chrome cleaner and then wiped off afterwards, but that's ready now, and that's ready to be put in. But we'll grease up the seal a little bit with some good grease. Only a little bit. Actually, we'll grease the piston a little bit. It's the same principle. Not much. You don't need much. Actually, I might even wipe some of that off. Especially when it goes past there, I would say. There we go. And then it goes in. Right, so this is where you would get the tool, I would say, or a press or something, because obviously you've got those threads inside. So I'm going to try to wind it in with the tool. I'll show you the tool at the end of the video, or at the end of this job, where it winds in on those threads that you've seen earlier, and that should do it. Okay, so let's I'll give that a buzz a minute and I'll get back to you. Okay guys, so it's an understatement to say this is an absolute ball ache to do, I'm not going to lie, but this tool, which I said I was going to show you, if I kind of, well, what it does, I'll show you when I'm able to bring it out, because I've set it up to actually ream the piston into the caliper. What it does is, well, what I just said, it tightens the piston and brings it into the caliper, so when I turn it, the piston will go in. And what I did was kind of catch the threads and then push this dust cover over, the new one, and then started reaming her up. So now, if I put the light next to it, okay, maybe not. Oh man, it's so dark in here. Okay, so now when I'm tightening it up, it is slightly, it's so slightly going in. I don't know if you can see that. It is really tight. You have to take your time, and it would be probably easier in a vise the whole way. But it's definitely a tight job. And what makes me laugh is they make this tool so you can do it by hand, and well, it's not the easiest thing to do. Right, so this is the tool. So you've got like different adapters for each piston, so if you can see that, and they go onto the piston like this. Yeah, so you've got like little divots in the piston head. There you go. There and there. And those little teeth go in the piston, and this just attaches to there, and then this this separator goes in against the arms of the caliper, and it just goes in like that, and then you do it up as tight as you can to there, and then you're able to just ream the piston into the caliper clockwise, and then we'll adjust back onto the car afterwards. Okay, I hope that makes sense. But what I might do is get it into a vise, because I can't hold the caliper and do this up at the same time. So let's put this in a vise. Couple more turns. You can see the piston's right in, pretty much. Till it goes a bit tight. I'm not going to over tighten it. That should be enough now for the pads and everything to go in. Now we'll just take this out.
September we met, I could tell by your smile. You hadn't been with a good girl like me in a while. Yeah, you were impressed, couldn't leave me alone. Text me every time that you pick up the phone. And I had control in the driver's seat, but my hands are slipping off the wheel.
So, the brakes are bled, the air is out, so all we need now is a cap on the bleed nipple, which is that there. The clutch, the handbrake cable's on. New seals are in, all greased up, all done up. We've filled the gap behind the piston with fluid and then bled the brakes to get the air out. There was quite a lot of air, which is expected because we popped the piston right out. And new pads in, new rotor or disc, and that's it really. All we need to now is put the wheels back on and test if you have firm brakes. If you don't have firm brakes, there's obviously still some air in the system, I would say. Also, what I would do is, if when you close off the bleed nipple, you need to check the piston seal for leaks, because you've just replaced it. So if you see fluid not coming out of the bleed nipple and elsewhere, then you've got problems with the seal that you've just put in. So check that as well. Awesome. So there you go. That is how you rebuild a rear caliper on a Vauxhall Zafira. Things that went wrong was that damn piston, but to be honest, I kind of knew that would happen. Those pistons were that engineering idea for rear calipers with the twisty, well, I know it's a handbrake, but those pistons that need to turn to go into the caliper, was just a horrible idea to work on. I'm presuming a garage would just replace the caliper. But yeah, they're horrible to work on, and that was a pain. That's the only thing that went wrong. Nothing else went wrong. All the parts fitted. Yeah, that's all of the other three wheels are already done. I've done that last one just to capture and help you guys do it yourself at home. So yeah, that is how you rebuild a rear caliper on a Vauxhall Zafira. And yeah, you know, have a crack and don't be scared as always. Just keep making sure those seals do not split. There is 1, 2, 3, there's 4 seals there I replaced. Just make sure that they keep in place. Most are greased up anyway, so they slide well. And get yourself a piston tool as well. You're not going to do it without it. The tool that I showed you, you're not going to do it without it. Not really. Some people do it with pliers. That's really hard. It was hard with the tool. So yeah, just get yourself that. Okay, thanks for watching guys, and enjoy the rest of my channel.
Every single day